Alright, new project today. Not sure when you're going to actually see this video, but currently it is the very end of July. Actually the last full weekend in July. But I have a new thing that I'm going to work on that I'm building for somebody. Let me uncover it for you, and we'll show you what we got going on here. So if you haven't figured it out already, it is an old oil tank. Normally it would look like that. And the purpose of it is actually going to be a maple syrup evaporator. The person I'm making this for had gotten into making maple syrup a few years ago, and at that point was just making temporary brick structures out of cinder blocks and stuff like that to make an evaporator every year. So he's finally, or decided to finally make more of a permanent structure, and is building himself a small sugar shack and wanted a more permanent evaporator. So that's what this is. Prior to making this video, I had already gone over his place and had cut the top of it off, and then we figured out a plan for what we're going to do with it, and then it got transported here because I have the tools and the ability to do what he wants. But here it is. The tag suggests that it was originally made in 1993. It is 275 gallons, or I'm sorry, yeah, 275 gallons supposedly according to the tag. But still in good shape, of course. It's not really that old. After we had cut the top of it off, he had gone through and dredged out the inside of it because it still had a bunch of sludge in it, which actually turned out much better than I expected. So his vision is basically this. This is the picture that I'm working with, along with measurements and plans that I had drawn up right after we had cut the top of it off. By the end of this, it should look like this, minus the door, because he hasn't decided what he wants to do with the door yet. So that'll be added later, but the basic structure will be all in place. There's a box section in here, and the pan goes on top. The fire goes down here in the front. So, probably doesn't make sense right now, but let me get the oil tank reorientated, and we'll look at it some more. Alright, here it be sitting upright. The tank unfortunately is missing. These legs are here, so we'll have to find some more legs for it, but this is how it'll sit. So this is how the inside looks sitting upright. What he wants is 2 feet of firebox here. So there'll be a wall facing upright 2 feet from this wall here. And then there'll be a flat piece to build a box for the smoke to travel up that goes up that way. So I'm going to make some cardboard templates and show you what we got going on. It'll make more sense then. So I cut out my template and just sort of stuck it in there. This will give you a better idea of what it is I'm referring to. So this part here is where the fire goes, and then just imagine that there will be a door here at some point, and then that is the back of the stove per se, and then up atop here just imagine a flat piece of metal all the way across and all the way back. I only really needed a template for this part since it was a funny shape. That part right there is just 35 back that way and 20 inches across this way. So I believe his plan is to have two pans. The one in the front will be the main boil, and then he'll have another pan in the back to do a pre-boil or a preheat of the sap before it goes into the main pan for the actual boiling down into maple syrup. But I have all the specifications that are required. He wanted 2 feet of firebox, and then he wanted 2 inches at least above his brick that he's going to stack across the flat piece of metal. So that's there. It's on a slight slope, so the smoke from the fire has a place to go up, over, and then out, and eventually there'll be a stack that goes out that way. Again, hasn't completely decided how that part's going to go, but the main part was all set and ready to go. I think now I need to get paired to do some metal work actually. Josh! Gotta cut that. Alright, I have the funny looking piece made to fit, and took quite a while to get the contour correct, but I was able to do it. And I have a piece of metal to go on the top here that follows this line on both sides. Everything right now is just kind of held in with magnets and whatnot. This is the piece of metal that I'm going to use to go on the very top there. But before I do anything, I'm going to continue to make everything fit and whatnot. And if you remember from the picture, there's a piece of angle iron that goes all the way around it, creating a lip. There is an 8-foot length and 2 6-foot lengths. The 8-foot length will get cut in half to make 2 4-foot sections to go along the both long edges here. Then the 6-foot length will get cut in half to go across the short way. It's chop saw.